Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. I'm Jason Rains, your KC seller with RE/MAX Elite Realtors. I'm gonna get right into it today. Today we're gonna be talking about the 5 things not to do when buying a home here in the Kansas City area. Super important, so let's check it out. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, first of all, welcome, but I need you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and then right next to that, click the little bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. I post videos every Tuesday and Saturday, so make sure you're checking back every week for the latest content. If you want to know everything about what it's like to eat, sleep, live, working here at Kansas City, then you guys, this is the channel for you. And as much as I love shooting these videos for you guys, I am a licensed agent here in the state of Missouri and Kansas. And again, as much as I like making the videos, I would much rather help you buy a home when you move to Kansas City. The only way to do that is if you reach out to me. So make sure you use the contact information below and give me a call, shoot me a text or an email, and let me know how I can help you when you move to Kansas City. Okay, let's get to it. If you are even thinking about moving to the Kansas City area, these are the 5 things you absolutely do not want to do. Number 1, focusing on the wrong things. Now, when I say that, I mean, are we focusing on things you can change, or are we focusing on things you can't change? Things you can change: backsplash, countertops, color of paint, all of that cosmetic stuff, versus the things you can't change: number of garage spaces, size of yard, location, commute. Now that doesn't mean you can't change your mind as we're looking at homes. You just have to know what are the non-negotiables. What are the things you're not going to give up? And if you do, are you going to have the dreaded buyer's remorse? And on the reverse side, did we find the perfect house, the one that checks all of the boxes, but you're so focused on all the things that can be changed, like paint color and flooring, that you can't see past those things, and then we miss out on what is truly your dream home. Once we find the house that has all of those non-negotiables, it's important not to get weighed down by the little things. Let's stay focused on those things that are truly most important. Number 2, definitely a hot topic right now, and one that buyers are thinking a lot about, but that is focusing too much on the interest rate. Now, before you say, Jason, that's easy for you to say, you're not out there buying a house right now, I want you to shift your thinking. Instead of focusing on the next 30 years and what that higher interest rate means over the course of the next 30 years, let's think about there's other options out there, right? We can buy points to buy down the interest rate. I covered that in a previous video. Or instead of thinking about you specifically and your rate and how it affects your loan over the next 30 years, just know that you can refinance when the rates come back down. Because let's be honest, historically, rates do go up and rates do come back down. So let's wait for them to come back down after you purchase during the course of your mortgage, and just plan on refinancing during that time to help save you more money. Sure, maybe you're gonna stay in the house for the next 30 years, but honestly, unless it's your forever home, you're probably not going to. The average homeowner stays in their house for 8 years, okay? That's it. So we either know that you can refinance during the 8 years, or again, if it's your forever home, we can refinance in the next 30 years, or just know that you're gonna end up buying, on average, again in 8 years anyway, and we can revisit this topic then and see what interest rates are at that point. Maybe we're on the downhill slide when you go to buy the next home. Now, while those interest rates go up and they go down over time, historically, appreciation rates just go up. So what that means for you is Kansas City's still growing, home values are still going to go up over time. And if you wait to buy a home until interest rates are lower, you're actually losing out on the equity that you could have made in that same time period. And you will end up losing more equity than what you will have spent in the short-term higher interest rates if you buy now. There are also different loan programs that are starting to become popular again. I'm starting to see more and more buyers use adjustable rate mortgages. Now, with that being said, if you're looking into that or thinking about doing that, just make sure you have a phenomenal lender that can answer all of your questions and show you all of the pros and cons before going down that path. Something else to think about if maybe you're thinking about renting for a year when you first get to Kansas City, trying to figure out the area and where you want to be long term, is if you don't think you're paying the interest rate of your landlord, you are. You're paying everything they're paying, plus you're paying their profit. So think about that, right? If you think interest rates are high right now, which really they're not, they've just been so incredibly low the last 2 years, almost free money, which really isn't good for the economy. They're actually in the 5s and 6s, more normal compared to where they used to be than where they have been the last 2 years. But if you think they're high right now, think about this. If you're paying rent, you're basically paying a 100% interest rate. And I don't know about you, but 100% is way more than 5 or 6%. Number 3, avoid the dreaded buyer's remorse. Now, I briefly mentioned this earlier in the video, but before we go start looking at homes or going under contract, you need to find out what your non-negotiables are, right? So is that commute? Is that school district? Whatever it might be, right? What we don't want is to find the perfect house for you that has all the things that you think you're looking for, and maybe you kind of compromised on some of those non-negotiables that you identified when we first started looking, and you get in the house and all of a sudden the commute or the school district or the size of home, something that was non-negotiable that you kind of just pushed off to the side, all of a sudden causes buyer's remorse. So with that being said, tell you a quick little story. I had clients that bought a house in Overland Park, Kansas, just last July. They came in from out of state. Again, it was people moving from out of state. Met them, showed them houses, found one that they really, really liked in Overland Park. And what they ended up doing was, just like I said, don't do, they had identified the size of home as something being very important, okay? They push that off to the side, they find a house, they really love the area, they really love the neighborhood, it's got ponds nearby, it's got walking trails, it's got everything that they wanted, great finishes, all of that stuff. And I just got a call last week from Mr. Buyer at the time, and he says, Jason, we've been in this house and we've fixed up a few things, but really what we're finding is it's just too big for us and it's just too much for us to maintain. We need you to sell the house and find us something smaller. That would be a prime example of buyer's remorse. Now, part 2 of number 3 is having a really good real estate advisor, I don't know, like myself, helping you out. Kidding, not really. But anyways, you know, someone that is going to take the information that you provided at the beginning, those non-negotiables, and then use those to help you through the buying process and not necessarily talk you out of buying the home, because it's not my job to talk you out of buying the home, but more so making sure that we go back and revisit what those non-negotiables were while looking at homes, so you don't accidentally brush those off to the side because you fell in love with the cosmetics of the house, those things that could be changed if they weren't perfect, right? So another quick little story, helping a client right now who's moving into the Kansas City area from Alaska of all places, right? And her and her husband, he's just getting ready to retire from the military, and they wanted no HOA, they don't really want a neighborhood, They want a little bigger yard, some more space. I mean, we've even looked at properties up to 20 acres, right? And then all of a sudden, I get an email that says, Jason, what do you think of this house? And it was in a neighborhood with lots of neighbors and an HOA. My response to Mrs. Buyer was, hey, absolutely would love to go show you the house, but you do realize it's in a neighborhood with neighbors and an HOA, right? So again, just gently reminding her of the things that she told me were most important. Now, she still liked the home enough after I reminded her of those things that we still went in and looked at the home. So again, things may change as you're going through the buying process, but just make sure you're always remembering what those non-negotiables were and having someone on your side to help you with those non-negotiables were. Now, I just briefly touched upon it, but number 4 is finding the right buyer's agent, okay? So now it doesn't cost you, while it doesn't cost you very much money to find a buyer's agent and use them, it is still a very big deal. Historically, the seller pays the buyer's agent commission. And now while you might not think writing up contracts and showing homes and doing all the things that are involved with a buyer's agent helping you get a home, you couldn't be further from the truth. It is a very big deal, and it could literally cost you your dream home if you use the wrong one. So don't rely on just hiring the first buyer's agent you talk to that calls you on the phone from an online inquiry you submitted on a specific property. Quick story number 3 in this video. I'm working with a client right now, moving here from the East Coast, and that's exactly what he did. He got on Zillow, found a house he liked, clicked contact an agent. They connected him with some random agent in the area he knows nothing about. This agent, I don't know, I haven't even looked. This agent may have done 2 home sales in their entire career, I don't know. But they placed a sight unseen offer on the first house that he contacted them about and lost the deal. And now he's having a little bit of remorse. He's calling me, asking me if I can represent him because he's not feeling confident in what he's learned so far with the other agent. So I don't want that to happen to you. I mean, seriously, just because your sister's boyfriend's aunt's cousin sells real estate doesn't mean they're competent, okay? You gotta look at it this way. The barrier entry for this profession is very low, okay? It's just a few classes and a test. That's it. That's one of the reasons why there's over 13,000 licensed agents in our MLS right now. Food for thought though, let this sink in. 80% of the agents don't renew their license after 2 years. 80% are no longer here after 2 years. And of the remaining 20%, their average career is only 8 years long. So make sure you're asking the right questions and interviewing multiple agents before you hire one to help you find your dream home. Another part of hiring the right buyer's agent is having the conversations with listing agents, right? I've talked about these in previous videos, the conversations that buyer's agents should be having. If these conversations are done inappropriately, or let's say the contract is a little messy because the buyer's agent doesn't really know what they're doing, it literally puts your offer down at the bottom of the list of offers, okay? Have another house in Overland Park that's under contract right now, and the first offer we got, literally there were so many mistakes in it. The buyer's agent didn't even sign the offer where it said, buyer's agent responsible for preparing this form. They didn't even sign it, right? And there was numerous other mistakes in the contract as well, okay? Another house that is under contract out in Odessa, Missouri, kind of out east past Blue Springs on the Missouri side. The buyer's agent wanted to use an appraisal gap waiver, and they literally wrote it up wrong and almost cost their client $10,000 that wouldn't have even been in question had they filled out and worded the contract properly. So it's definitely important. Having an agent with experience and a great reputation absolutely makes a huge difference. So please, again, do not hire the first agent you talk to. Even if I'm not the one interviewed or I'm not the one hired, please find someone that will do the work that you deserve when finding your next home. And number 5 is win the house first. What I mean by that is don't be focused on so much of the entire process and all the other things involved with it that we don't even get a chance to win the house, okay? Let's win the house, let's win the offer first. Once we win the offer, it doesn't mean that we're married to the house. There are different timelines within the contract, again, depending on how this specific contract is written, but there are timelines within the contract where we can walk away and still get the earnest money deposit back. Now, I'm just gonna talk about the base contract because there's way too many other variables to go into, way too many other situations that are gonna vary depending on every single house. But in the base contract itself, if we don't use all these other pieces, we have a 10-day inspection window, okay? During that 10 days, we can do all the inspections we want to, and we can literally walk away based on anything that's found in the inspection, okay? If we don't want to walk away, we have 5 days to negotiate any repairs, okay? We can go back and forth several times. And even after the 5 days, it doesn't mean the deal's off. It just means either side can choose to walk away at that time. Maybe we come to agreement in 7 days and we keep moving forward. If we don't though, we walk away, you get the earnest money deposit back. All right, now after the inspection period and the resolution period, which that's 15 days right there, we still have the appraisal period, right? So let's say the appraisal comes in low from the lender. We have 5 days to negotiate that. Either we come up in price, the seller comes down in price, somewhere in the middle, or the whole thing's off. But bottom line is, let's win the house first so we can go through that process, and then if something happens, we can always walk away and get an earnest money deposit back. But we can't even have the chance of getting your dream home if we don't win the contract first. And the final part of win the house first is speed is key. The average days on market for months and months and months has been 2 days, okay? That's average. Some houses are going on the market like within hours or the first day. But what that means is we have to get you in the house as soon as possible. Either you have to be present, I have to go see it for you, shoot a video, send it to you. We simply don't have time in order for you to think about it if we're going to win the house first. All right, so obviously we went over a lot of information today. Hopefully it helps you know what not to do when you're coming to Kansas City to buy a house. And hopefully it gave you a lot of information. Now, again, as much as I love making these videos for you guys, I am a licensed agent in the state of Missouri and in the state of Kansas, and I would love to help you find a house and buy a house when you move here to Kansas City. Now, the only way I can do that is if you call me, text me, or email me at the information below. I am the one that answers the phone calls, texts you back, answers the emails. It's just me. So please reach out to me and let me help you find your next dream home. Until the next video, have a great week.